Hi friends, I'm Max Lucado. Welcome to Fresh Hope. I'm so glad you joined me for this special series. It's based on my book, Because of Bethlehem. And over the next 4 episodes, we're going to take a life-changing trip to a small village, the birthplace of our Savior, and the place where it all began. I love Christmas. Let the sleigh bells ring. Let the carolers sing. The more Santas, the merrier. The more trees, the better. I love Christmas. The ho-ho-ho, the rooty-toot-toot, the parumpa-pum-pum, the silent night and the sugar plums. I don't complain about the crowded shops. I don't grumble at the jam-packed grocery store. The flight is full, the restaurant is packed. Well, it's Christmas. And I love Christmas. Bring on Scrooge and Cousin Eddie and the official Red Ryder Carbine Action 200-shot range model air rifle. You'll shoot your eye out. The tinsel and the clatter and the waking up to see what was the matter. Being in his tunes, Macy's balloons, mistletoe kisses, Santa Claus wishes, and favorite dishes. Holiday snows, warm winter clothes, and Rudolph's red nose. I love Christmas. I love it because somewhere someone will ask the Christmas questions. What's the big deal about the baby in the manger? Who was he? What does his birth have to do with me? The questioner might be a child looking at a front yard creche. He may be a soldier stationed far from home. She may be a young mom who, for the first time, holds a child on Christmas Eve. The Christmas season prompts questions. I can remember the first time I asked those questions. I grew up in a small West Texas town, the son of a mechanic and a nurse. Never poor, but certainly not affluent. My dad laid pipeline in the oil fields, and Mom worked the 3 to 11 shift at the hospital. I followed my brother to elementary school every morning and played neighborhood ball in the afternoons. Dad was in charge of dinner. I was in charge of sweeping the floor. And we boys took our baths by 8 and were in bed by 9 with permission to do one thing before turning out the lights. We could read. The chest at the foot of our bed contained children's books, big books, each with a glossy finish and bright pictures. The 3 bears lived in the chest. So did the big bad wolf and 7 dwarfs and a monkey with a lunch pail whose name I don't recall. Somewhere in the chest, beneath the fairy tales, was a book about baby Jesus. On the cover was a manger filled with yellow hay. A star glowed above the stable. Joseph and a donkey, equally big-eyed, stood nearby. Mary held a baby in her arms. She looked down at him, and he looked up at her, and I remember looking at them both. My dad, a man of few words, had told my brother and me, "Boys, Christmas is about Jesus." In one of those bedtime, book time moments, somewhere between the fairy tales and the monkey with the lunch pail, I thought about what he had said, and I began asking the Christmas questions. And I've been asking them ever since. Oh, I love the answers that I've found, like this one. God knows what it is like to be a human. And when I talk to him about deadlines or long lines or tough times, he understands. He's been there. He's been here. Because of Bethlehem, I have a friend in heaven. Because of Bethlehem, I have a Savior in heaven. You see, Christmas begins what Easter celebrates. The child in the cradle became the king on the cross. And because he did, there are no marks on my record. Just grace. He offered, come in and I'll clean you up. And it's not my grip on him that matters, but his grip on me, and his grip is sure. So is his presence in my life. God is always near us, always for us, always in us. We may forget him, but he will never forget us. We are forever on his mind and in his plans. He called himself Emmanuel, which, as Matthew 1:23 explains, means God with us. Not just God made us, not just God thinks of us, not just God above us, but God with us. John 1:14 says, the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. Jesus entered our world not like a human, but as a human to a human, a mother named Mary. On a starlit night, in the company of sheep, cattle, and a bewildered Joseph, Mary's eyes fell upon the face of her just-born son. She was bone-weary, surely, in pain, likely, ready to place her head on the straw and sleep the rest of the night away, probably. But first, Mary had to see this face, his face, to wipe the moisture from his mouth and feel the shape of his chin, to be the first to whisper, so this is what God looks like. Well, some years ago, I wrote a chapter titled 25 Questions for Mary, in which I imagined the ponderings that young Mary had about Jesus. The idea captured the imagination of an elementary school teacher. She asked her students to make a list of questions that they would like to ask young Mary. Here are some of their responses. Could you believe that you were pregnant for the whole world? Were you scared of not doing a good job? What was Jesus' first word as a baby? Was he beautiful? Did he ever get sick? Did Jesus ever misbehave? Was Jesus born with hair? What was his favorite food? Did you feel any holier? Did he ever have a pet? Well, these are legitimate questions. And the fact that we can ask them raises a greater one. Why such a journey? Why did God go so far? I believe that the primary reason is this. He wants you to know that he gets you. He understands how you feel and has faced what you face. As Hebrews 4, verses 15 and 16 says, Jesus is not out of touch with our reality. He's been through weakness and testing, experienced it all but the sin. So let's walk right up to him and get what he is so ready to give. Take the mercy, accept the help. Since you know he understands, you can boldly approach his throne. Because of Bethlehem, you can answer these crucial questions. Does God care if I'm sad? Well, look at Jesus weeping outside the tomb of his dear friend Lazarus. Does God care when I'm afraid? Watch Jesus stand by the disciples in the boat while they fear the storm. Does God care when I'm ignored or rejected? Well, just see Jesus stand up for the adulterous woman when no one else would. Hebrews 1 verse 3 says, Jesus radiates God's own glory and expresses the very character of God. Jesus himself stated in John 14:9, Anyone who has seen me has seen the Father. In other words, anyone who has seen me weep has seen the Father weep. Anyone who has seen me laugh has seen the Father laugh. Anyone who has seen me determined has seen the Father determined. Would you like to see God? Well, take a look at Jesus. You see, everything changes when we see the face of God. He came with tears too, and He knows the burden of a broken heart. He knows the sorrow that this life can bring. Now, He could have come as a shining light or a voice in the clouds, but He came as a person. Does God understand you? Well, find the answer in Bethlehem. Gaze where Mary gazed, look into God's face, and be assured, if the King was willing to enter the world of animals and shepherds in swaddling clothes, don't you think He's willing to enter yours? Bethlehem was just the beginning. Jesus is promised a repeat performance. Bethlehem, Act 2. No silent night this time, however. The skies will open, trumpets will blast, and a new kingdom will begin. He will empty the tombs and melt the winter of death. He will press His thumb against the cheek of humanity and wipe away all tears. Begone sorrow and sickness and wheelchairs and cancer. Enough of you, screams of fear and nights of horror. Death, you die. Life, you reign. The manger dares us to believe that the best is yet to be, and it could all begin today. But if it doesn't, there is a reason. No day is accidental or incidental. No acts are random or wasted. Look at the Bethlehem birth. A king ordered a census. Joseph was forced to travel. Mary, as round as a ladybug, bounced on a donkey's back. The hotel was full. The hour was late. The event was one big hassle. Yet out of the hassle, hope was born. It still is. Now, I don't like hassles, but I love Christmas because it reminds us of the promise in Romans 8:28. God causes everything to work together for the good of those who love God. The heart-shaping promises of Christmas. Long after the guests have left and the carolers have gone home and the lights have come down, these promises endure. Perhaps you could use some Christmas this Christmas. Let's do what I did as a 6-year-old red-headed, flat-topped, freckle-faced boy. Let's turn on the lamp, curl up in a comfortable spot, and look into the odd, wonderful story of Bethlehem. May you find what I have found, a lifetime of hope. I hope you'll join us again, my friend, as we continue to explore the promise of Christ. Because of Bethlehem, every day is Christmas, and every heart is a manger.